Senate President before, Senator Amelan, during his tenure, three times we set up a committee. And at one time we invited everybody. We pushed, and you were the chairman appropriation then, and we pushed the government to approve 809 billion to procure the Tucano. But it was wrongly used. You went and procured Tucano while we needed attack helicopters. If we have attack helicopters around that area now, this Boko Haram will not even go there, because the Chadians went there with only 2 attack helicopters. Right now, the joint task force we are talking about have only 1 helicopter. So the Senate should, the mover of the motion should amend this motion, and let's be blunt about it. Let's ask the government to do the right thing. And I'm sure that if we tell the president what to do, he will do it. He will do it. So let us stand up and say that we are just approving a borrowing about 2.2 billion to fund the budget. What budget if we are not secured? So, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I've taken much more time, but let us take this thing more serious. It can be done in 1 week. It can be done.
Thank you very much. Even the Super Tucano are talking about.
Jokers. Oh, there is one of them. There is one of them from Kogi. I think it's from Kogi, who said that the senators, they should lead the fight against terrorists. You know that guy that used to be their spokesperson, the one that said buying a car of 160 million naira for lawmakers is not a big deal. They say, why didn't you buy the car from Nigeria? Because there are car makers in Nigeria. That means the money will remain in Nigeria. Say, well, maybe the cars made in Nigeria is not good for them. Or maybe next time we can buy from Nigeria. But for now, it's all right. The guy, Ayogweze, I think his name. Is that his name, Ayogweze or something? Listen.
Possibility of government. We are all part of government. If we go into some of our communities, we see the locals contributing one way or the other to the security of the environment. I saw, as part of this prayer, that the government, Nigeria, should establish a military base and a community there. Sometimes we can also lead by example. Like I just discussed with my brother, Senator Ndume. We can come together as the leader of the state to mobilize the legislature in the state to see how we can use part of our National Intervention Fund to contribute something to the security of our environment. If you can secure the lives and properties of our people, that is the best thing we can do for them. Rather than coming and talking every day, we should lead by example. I also discussed with him, you should see the Chadian leader that led his people to the front. It's because he understands that terrain. We can also, as leaders, I told him, lead. He can provide himself as the leader, so that I can lead like Chadian president that knows the terrain of that place, to lead our military on operation there. So it is leading by example. So we don't just blame everything on government. Our military, they are trying. They are overstretched. And we need to do all possible to come to their aid. Thank you.
Did you see the face of that guy in light blue kaftan, Babariga, when he said, we too, if you're talking about the Chadian president leading by example, leading the troop. Even we too, we can lead the army. Since we know the terrains of our community, we can lead the army. Did you see that guy behind him? Like, did I hear this guy right? Lead who? I mean, you the mad, which one is lead? Lead who? So where? Me, I'm not leading, no. That's how they make mockery of the whole thing. It's all about talk, 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 talk. The people are on their own. These ones would rather stay away. I don't want to be involved. It is not my duty to lead by example. I am just a lawmaker. Of course, it's because the situation has gotten to this level anyway. And you should know you are on your own when it comes to the security of life and property in that contraption. You are mostly on your own. The security agents will tell you that they are underfunded. The corruption is so deep that Nigeria is spending trillions of naira on defense. Well, you see those people who actually carries out the fight, the soldiers, they are the worst paid ever. Do you know that in Nigeria, at least before now, a soldier is earning 55,000 naira salary when the minimum wage was 30,000 naira. 55,000, a soldier. Imagine putting your life on the line for 7,800, 110. Listen to this. The Nigerian soldier's salary was 55,000. I think it's for their corporal or something. Then some of them are earning. I want to start from the argument, the last argument some of them had with me. And it was that, yes, the minimum salary of a soldier in Nigeria is 55,000 naira. The exchange rate back then was officially 410 naira. So that means somehow, as a soldier in Nigeria, you are earning $110. Okay. Then Tinubu happened. You are still earning 55,000. But there are others who are earning as much as 115,000. So those ones who are earning 115,000, their own salary based on the exchange rate back then was like a 200 and let me just put it a round figure, $250 a month. Then Tinubu happened. Their salary hasn't been increased. Those who are earning 55,000, do you remember a video of one soldier who cried out that he couldn't afford to go and see his family, that his salary can't pay for his transport to and fro? And he's right there in Borno, in Damboa in Borno, supposedly fighting Boko Haram. His salary is 55,000 naira. Then he made a video to say, with the cost of transportation now, he couldn't even go home to see his family. And the guy got arrested a few days after that video. Do you remember that guy that was holding this, tub of food, and then he's gone? That they won't even pay them. He said his salary was 55,000 naira. So when Tinubu happened, that 55,000 naira to, okay, $1 turned from 410 naira to 1,700 naira to $1. So that's supposed $120 dollars salary dropped drastically. So I think $35 in 1 year of Tinubu. He is still being paid 55,000. But the economy has been tanked. the one that is earning 110,000 naira, that one dropped from, that's a $250. It dropped to maybe $105. Within a year, they lost more than half of the value of their salary. So these are the guys who are supposed to face terrorists and put their lives on the line and possibly get killed for $35 a month. They won't even pay them. But trillions of naira is being budgeted every year for defense. The corruption is so deep. The corruption is so deep that when you begin to analyze it, you have to ask yourself, what is the value of the life of a Nigerian? Or what is the value of the life of a Nigerian soldier? So the insecurity is what? Now the senators, they also lost too. But they didn't really lose. An average salary, the salary of a senator in Nigeria plus all allowances every month, though, before Tinubu, was 35 million naira a month. 420 million naira a year. That's the salary of a senator. This is minus their kickback, budget padding, and all that nonsense they are doing, or criminality. This is minus that too. 35 million naira a senator. And a rep member takes home 22 million naira every month. Now, if you go on and check that 35 million naira, and then, 420 million naira annually, I think it is divided to be somewhere around $850,000 annually. That's how much a senator takes home every year. When you, like, during the time when the exchange rate was somewhere around 410 naira. So when Tinubu came, he increased their salaries by over 120%. And when you now factor in all other emoluments, today, a senator in Nigeria takes home 55 million naira. 55 million naira. That's how much a senator takes home every month. And guess what? 55 million for a whole year, that then gives them somewhere around 660 million, I think. 660 million naira from 420 million naira a year. So a senator now takes home over 660 million naira in Nigeria. Or I don't know, maybe I should say unfortunately for them. The exchange rate of 1,740 naira today has also shrunk the money down from over $800,000 annually. It has shrunk down to somewhere around $300,000 annually. So they themselves, in this economy, they've lost over $500,000 of their take-home pay. No wonder Oji Uzokalu said the money is not enough to take care of them anymore. Tinubu destroyed Nigeria economy, so nobody is spared. And this is just the beginning. So you see those ones at the top, and then those ones that are at the bottom of the food chain. Nobody is spared. It's unfortunate though. Nigeria writes a budget. Put it this way. When Boko was their president, this was just last year, Bokwari's budget was 22 trillion. And the value at the time, I think, was put at $28 billion. Tinubu's budget in 2024 is 27.5 or so trillion naira. That's the budget. But they have destroyed the economy so the value of the naira and the exchange rate, guess how much that is in dollars? Nigeria's budget is now somewhere around $21 billion. Even though they have more budget set their money. In 2025, they are budgeting 48 trillion naira. Do you know what the value is? It is still less than $30 billion. This is the effects of the Tinubu if you begin to wait. So you see those of you who used to earn 300,000 naira 9 years ago, you could do anything, everything. You're like, you're a big boy, big girl. If you now compare that to those who are earning 3 million naira today, put it this way. In 2014, before this APC, $300,000 is almost 300,000 naira was almost $2,000. Today, 3 million naira is $1,750. So if somebody tells you that 300,000 naira has so much value before these criminals than 3 million naira today, don't argue, except if you are so daft than manageable. $300,000 was 1,980. 300,000 naira was $1,980. Today, 3 million naira is $1,750. Do you see that? And the reason why you got yourself into that fix, no thanks to APC, Ebekebe, no thanks to Tinubu, the Oluwole accountant, and they are still borrowing more. Listen to this.
I'm putting all this to you, assuming that you were in the house and these gains were presented to you, yet the government comes and says, we still need to borrow 1.7 trillion to fix deficit. Help us make sense.
Geoffrey, you said I was laughing because you said that we're the ones making the money. I'm no longer in the house. But in the last assembly, if you had followed some of our discussions, because we were against most of these loans. The loans that as a country we are collecting recently or previously, we are already a country nose diving, because you are collecting loan. Where are the templates? What is the template of repayment of those loans? We are not a producing nation. We are not industrialized. We are not an exporting nation. So a lot of issues are wrong in our loans. Like, you borrow to take breakfast, borrow to take lunch, borrow to take dinner every day, borrow to pay your children's school fees, borrow to do every single. How are you going to pay those certain loans? Today we are talking about the tax reforms, which means there are going to be more tax burden on Nigerians from next year. From my last calculation, our borrowing ratio is almost getting to 10% per year or biannually. So if we are getting to that level, that almost getting to 10%, it is very dangerous to us as a country. I'm not an economics, but then I know that inflation will be on the high rise. As long as inflation is going high, you are not exporting, you are not producing, you are not industrialized. I don't see any magic. The only industry working in Nigeria today is for us is people looking for how to work in either federal or state government. The only place you have people fill in as Nigerians today is either in the church or in the mosques. I don't see the number of people you find them in the church or mosques. I don't see them in any industry in this country. Go to China and Turkey and other countries, you will see those number of people in industries working day in, day out. And unfortunately, that even the loans that we are still collecting is to service the previous loans. Know what are the capital projects in these loans that we are now talking about? How were those loans being broken down to Nigerians to know that, look, this loan is not about the federation that have to just do with the unit of the president and his government. No, this loan have to do with Nigerians. Nigerians need to be communicated, and that's why I said earlier, it's not an issue of a political decision taken by the National Assembly or by the State House of Assembly. No. Nigerians need to be involved in every critical decision that have to do with their livelihood. In a day, I'll give an example with the United States. In a day, you will see that the press secretary to the president can come out to address the press maybe 3 times a day on every single meeting or every single decision that has been taken. But here you will find out, unless, I don't know, well, even now, getting the spokesperson is a confused issue. With the 3 people, we don't know who will now, we're going to hold accountable to tell us who is saying what about the president. So if we continue as confused on issues that have to do with the state of the country, that is how the issues will go in and out. The issue of the loan, I'm not in support because I know that I am indebted as a Nigerian, not just a country. I saw some analysis going on online that with this new loan, every Nigerian should know that he is now owing about 600 and something thousand naira also. Okay. But how can I translate that 600 and something thousand in my credit card? That with that 600 and something thousand, I can access health care, I can access good education, I can access good road, I can access security, I can access electricity, I can access food in the market, and I can know that I will get it at an affordable rate. And I can, so if I'm indebted, I should be able to know what I'm servicing. So that is what we are asking from government. Come out clear and clean to tell Nigerians these are the reasons, not just the explanation to the National Assembly. Today we are in
Nigeria. By the time Tinubu is done with Una, nobody will need to convince you to hit the streets. Because in faraway Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil, Kolu is having his ego massaged by the evil IMF, evil genius IMF, who said, "Oh, your policy is very great, oh. Honestly, you are doing well." I mean, listen, they had a meeting with him yesterday, or maybe, I don't know if it's yesterday because they only released it to us yesterday. A lot of people have left Rio 2 days ago. They finished, everyone has left. Maybe let's say Tinubu is still in Rio. I don't know. Maybe he's not. We don't know. He hasn't returned to Nigeria, and he's not in his hospital room in Paris. They are talking about how much more loans they need to take from the IMF and how much more shege is in stock for you.
One area for technical support that they are offering is in the area of our fiscal, monetary, and structural reforms. The third area is in the area where they can help us to create more fiscal space and then helping us to then attract more concessionary funding from different development partners. Because when you have higher fiscal space, then you can actually do more. And the fourth area is in helping us with our borrowing policies so that we can borrow at a cheaper cost and that the benefits of the borrowing can be felt in the economy by everybody.
President Tinubu appreciated the Global Financial Agency for its support in the implementation of the reforms and called for more institutional backing for stability and sustainable growth. He promised that his administration will continue to prioritize the welfare of the poor and most vulnerable, even as the administration's reform begin to bear fruits. The Nigerian leader noted that substantial resources must be invested to stimulate the much-needed infrastructural development in the country. And the president updated the IMF boss that Nigeria's ongoing tax reforms will further stimulate the economy.
We've instituted the reforms on our own. We didn't even do the reform based on IMF advice. We started the reform and we felt this was the best way to go for our economy to survive, for us to benefit maximally from government policies and incentives. We had to remove those subsidies. Now we've done it on our own. And the IMF is saying, now you've done the reform, so if we're going to support you, we're not asking you to do any more reform because you've already done the reform. So we're now here to support you because you've done the reform on your own. How much more can we now give you to stabilize your economy and for the people, the citizens, to feel the impact of these transformational policies and reforms that we've instituted?
President Tinubu.
They hear responsible people went to Rio to attract investors. Kolu Tinubu went to Rio to beg for loans. And IMF is like, how much do you need now? You've already started reform. We can see that you are ready to tax them to death next year. That sounds very great. How much do you need again? Anything you can.